We are back. This is Ryan Moon on Parlay News, where we are covering the hottest sports prediction markets on Kalshi right now. Our show today is about how injury news surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo could send shockwaves through the betting markets and potentially shift the Bucks' Suns spread by a massive 20 points. Can a two-time MVP's absence be worth more than his presence? And how do you bet on a ghost? Milwaukee's flying into Phoenix tomorrow night, carrying the weight of something darker than a 4-game losing streak. This isn't about wins and losses anymore. This is about watching a championship window slam shut in real time, and the market can't decide if it's already locked or if there's still time to wedge your foot in the door. Here's what we know. The Bucks are 1-4 in their last 5 games, getting demolished by 23 in Atlanta and 32 in Utah. Phoenix is also 1-4, limping home from a brutal road trip. On paper, these teams look equally broken, but the market's about to make a massive mistake, and it all hinges on one name that hasn't appeared on an official injury report yet. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31 years old, two-time MVP, the guy who carried Milwaukee to a championship and has been slowly breaking down ever since. He missed the Cleveland game recently, and when your franchise player sits while you're getting boat raced across the country, the whispers start. Spanish basketball press is openly discussing, quote, the danger of the most bitter goodbye, end quote. That's not trade speculation, that's eulogy language. But here's where it gets interesting. About 11 days ago, these exact same teams played in Milwaukee. Phoenix walked into Fiserv Forum and dropped 129 points, winning by 15. They made the Bucks look slow, old, and completely incapable of defending basic actions. Milwaukee couldn't stop switches, couldn't protect the rim, couldn't generate anything without Giannis collapsing the paint. It was like watching your drunk uncle try to guard prime shark at the family barbecue. Just sad for everyone involved. Now we're running it back in Phoenix, and both coaching staffs have spent a week and a half studying that film. The adjustments matter more than season-long averages when you have a rematch this quick. Milwaukee knows Phoenix attacked every switch and hunted mismatches in the paint. Phoenix knows Milwaukee couldn't generate rim pressure without Giannis dominating possessions. The problem is Milwaukee might not have the personnel to execute their adjustments. If Giannis is out, their adjustment capacity shrinks to 0. They become a perimeter team trying to out-execute a Phoenix squad that lives in the half-court. If Giannis plays but he's compromised with a minutes restriction, clearly favoring something, Milwaukee's in that nightmare middle ground where they're good enough to compete but not good enough to win. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Except the knife is also kind of dull, and you forgot how to hold it properly. Phoenix isn't exactly rolling either. That road trip was legitimately brutal. Toronto, Boston, Minnesota, San Antonio. They lost a 1-point heartbreaker in San Antonio 2 days ago. But here's the critical difference. Phoenix's struggles are explainable. Tough schedule, back-to-backs, sleeping in hotels for 2 weeks. Milwaukee's struggles are existential. They're giving up 122, 123, 128 points to teams that aren't exactly offensive juggernauts. That's not variance. That's a scheme or personnel problem that doesn't get fixed with one practice.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
The Suns already proved they can demolish this version of Milwaukee. They scored 129 in Milwaukee's building by exploiting every defensive weakness the Bucks have developed. Now they get the rematch at home, where they control the environment, the crowd energy, the whole psychological edge of, quote, we've already beaten you once, end quote. That's got to live rent-free in Milwaukee's heads right now. But the market's frozen because nobody knows if Giannis is playing. As of this morning, both teams showed not yet submitted on the official injury report. That means we're trading on assumptions right now. The line probably has a 60 to 70% chance of Giannis playing baked in. When that report drops, and it will probably sometime this afternoon or evening, the market's going to convulse harder than your portfolio did during the GME squeeze. If Giannis is ruled out, Milwaukee's price collapses 15 to 20 points instantly. They're not a competitive NBA team without him against a competent opponent, especially on the road after getting destroyed in Utah. If he's ruled in, but with a minutes restriction or questionable tag, the market stays paralyzed until closer to game time, and that's when the real edge lives. The sharpest money in NBA markets isn't analysis, it's speed. The traders who win are the ones with alerts set for injury report updates, ready to execute within 60 seconds of any Giannis status change. They're not sitting around debating whether the new price is fair. They're just faster at incorporating public information into their positions. Think of it like being first to the casino buffet. The shrimp is the same shrimp, you're just getting it while it's still warm. Here's where the secondary angles get spicy. If you believe Phoenix's defense is the real story, that they can replicate their performance and shut down Milwaukee's supporting cast, you're not just betting the money line. You're looking at first quarter spreads, first half totals, Phoenix team total overs. Milwaukee's defensive breakdowns start early in games. They give up 30-point first quarters like it's a warm-up drill. Their defense has more holes than the plot of a Fast and Furious movie. If Giannis plays and you think Milwaukee can hang around, the live betting angle is where the value lives. Phoenix is 1-4 in their last 5, and that 1-point loss in San Antonio suggests they struggle to close games. If Milwaukee keeps it within single digits heading into the fourth quarter, their live price is going to spike hard, and that's when you fade the public panic. The contrarian play that nobody's talking about. Both teams are equally broken right now. Phoenix's road trip was tough, sure, but they still lost 4 out of 5. If the market's heavily leaning Phoenix based on, quote, form, end quote, and quote, they beat Milwaukee by 15 to last time, end quote, the numbers don't fully support that edge. Milwaukee at plus money, if Giannis is confirmed healthy, might be the actual value, not because Milwaukee is good, but because Phoenix isn't as locked in as the narrative suggests. There's also the desperation factor. Milwaukee's sitting at 1-4 with whispers about Giannis demanding a trade getting louder by the day. There's a scenario where they're desperate enough to throw everything at this game, where the coaching staff sells out to stop the bleeding. Desperation can be a motivator, or it can lead to pressing and terrible decisions. But at the right price, betting on a desperate team with championship talent isn't crazy. It's contrarian. It's the same energy as buying the dip on a stock everyone's panic selling. Sometimes the crowd is wrong.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The real edge isn't having a better feel for the game. The real edge is being first to the injury report. If Giannis is ruled out and Phoenix is still priced below where they should be, you hammer Phoenix without thinking. If Giannis is ruled in and Milwaukee's price spikes too high, you fade Milwaukee because they're still a broken team even with their best player. This isn't rocket science. Okay, it's not even regular science. It's just information arbitrage dressed up as sports analysis. The market's going to be wrong for about 90 seconds after the injury news drops, and whoever's fastest wins. It's like musical chairs, except instead of chairs, it's money, and instead of music, it's your phone buzzing with an ESPN notification. So can a two-time MVP's absence be worth more than his presence? Absolutely. Because right now, the uncertainty around Giannis is keeping Milwaukee's price artificially inflated. The moment he's ruled out, that price craters, and Phoenix becomes the single most obvious bet on the board. But if he plays, and Milwaukee's price jumps, you're fading into a team that's given up 32 points in Utah and 23 in Atlanta recently. The ghost of championship Milwaukee is worth more than the reality of current Milwaukee. And tomorrow night in Phoenix, we're going to find out which version shows up and whether the market priced it correctly. Set those alerts, keep your finger on the trigger, and remember, in this game, speed beats analysis every single time. Thanks for listening to Parlay News. You can support our podcast by following the show, rating it 5 stars, and telling your friends. Remember, the content on this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and do not constitute financial advice. Prediction markets are extremely risky, and you should never play with more money than you are willing to lose. Always do your own research. Catch you on the flip.
Grep News. Tamez.